Hello, everyone. I'm JR Dukes with JRDukes.com. I appreciate you joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about Coach JR Dukes' life hacks. One of my favorite hacks is the following. What are people saying that they're not saying? This is something that I will explain to you shortly. And if you remember to apply it in your life, you will find it very useful, as this has been something, frankly, someone taught it to me years ago. A very good attorney friend of mine taught me this technique, taught me to basically be observant of people and to always be asking the question, what are people saying that they're not saying? It's amazing how human psychology works. And I always talk about having a free mind, and part of having a free mind is always analyzing everything that's around you, never taking for granted at face value what people are saying to you, or for that matter, what they're not saying to you, as I'm talking about in today's video. Let me give you a couple examples that happened to me recently and see what you think about it. Example number one, I bought a bicycle from an individual that lives not too far from my house. The bicycle is a great bicycle. There's nothing wrong with it. I ended up buying some accessories for this particular bike. And in my mind, I thought the accessories were going to be pretty difficult to put on. At any rate, I called this particular individual up and I said, "Hey, pal, how would you like to put these accessories that I bought on the bicycle for me? I'm happy to pay you for it. It's not a problem." His response to me was, "No problem. Right now, I'm super busy. I would like to be able to contact you as soon as I'm not busy, if that's okay." And I said, "Sure, no problem." Well, obviously, I've been employing these techniques my entire life. So I knew right away what he said was not what he meant. What he said was, "I'll give you a call. I'm happy to do the job. I appreciate the business." That's not what he meant. What he is saying that he's not saying is, "Look, I don't want to tell you no. I don't want to come across as mean or not appreciative of the business, but the bottom line is I'm not really interested in doing that particular job for you." And of course, I was right. The individual has never called me since the initial conversation to do the extra work. And that's probably been a good 3 or 4 months from today's date. So it was about 3 or 4 months ago. At any rate, the second example actually was another one that just happened really, really recently, like within the last few days. I always want to make sure that my internet service here at the house is working at its peak level. Obviously, we all want to have the best internet possible. The internet was acting up and wasn't performing to the standard that it should be performing. So I called the local cable company here, and the technician came out. He was a great guy. He was very informative, very kind, whatever. Any rate, he went through and determined he did need to replace the router and the modem. And he comes in when he's completed and he says, "Hey, JR, I have completed the job here. And I wanted to tell you the good news is you have fantastic signal to your house." Because, I need to back up just a little bit. I explained to him that we've had a long history of problems at my home when it comes to the cable that is supplied to the home. Apparently, I'm at the end of a trunk and people in the subdivision ahead of me are near the front of this particular trunk. So we have decent service, but it doesn't always work as well as it should work. And it's been an ongoing problem. At any rate, he told me, he goes, "Listen, the service is working fantastic. You have great signal just outside your house." And I told him, I said, "Hey, that's very interesting." I said, "Should I go ahead and have the cable company supply me a higher grade of service, a faster speed?" I think I'm at like 400 and they have a 1000 plan that you can go up to. And his response to me, he goes, "Oh no, that's not necessary. You're probably at the point where you need to be at." And of course, I just said, "Okay, thank you. And I appreciate it." Now, most of us would probably just take it at face value as to what the cable guy said. The cable guy said, "You're at where you need to be at." But I'm telling you, I just know better. I know from experience what he was telling me is, "Listen, I got your service to work. It's working good right now. And you need to stay where you're at right now. Because if you have us come out again to try to put the higher service in, we're not going to be able to supply it to you." It's just that simple. I'm at the maximum capacity that I can reasonably expect to obtain. And that's okay. I appreciate him coming out and I appreciate his work efforts. Again, this is just another time in my life where this life hack has really benefited me. If you know what I'm talking about, I'd appreciate it if you put it down in the comments below. If you have an example of your own, if you would put it in the comments below and share it with other people, I think it'd be very informative and it would help us all out. At any rate, the life hack for today is, what are people saying that they're not saying? Try it in your life and let me know if it works for you. I hope it really does. I want you to always remember that, folks, to have that free mind, never give up. I am J.R. Dukes.